Okay. What's up, everybody? Just jumping right into it
just
today.
ripping it off there.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Cornhole Gear Talk, presented
back.
by West Georgia Cornhole and Titan Bags. I'm your host, Ben, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Kendall.
It's been so long, I forgot what I normally say. What's up, everybody?
I'm locked and loaded.
Josh,
Howdy, howdy.
and Vlad the Hacker.
Yep.
He is here with us today as well.
Howdy, howdy.
Any of the background noise, that's him.
Yeah. Well, it has been a minute.
It has. Like
Since-
2 months?
Yeah, it's been a
It's
month
been
and a
long
half.
while.
Yeah.
Since we have released an episode, and there's a good reason for it.
We shipped our equipment on a box.
Yeah, on a box?
On a box.
On a
Loosely, just on top of
Not
one.
in it, but
yeah,
on it.
It was on there.
Yeah, kind of like versus, being on the floor or in the floor.
Don't get me started.
Yeah. Well, so we have been to several different events across the United States, literally across the United
Literally, yeah.
States. We were in South Carolina for, as many of you are familiar with Worlds, we were there at Worlds, and then we were also in Ventura, California, not too long after that at Spencer McKenzie's The Throwdown.
Mm-hmm.
And both of those events were really fun for Titan people.
Fantastic experience. Yes, for Titan people specifically.
Yes.
Yeah. Some money was made at those events.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Couple dollars.
Yeah, at least.
At least a couple.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. So let's do a little recap about what all went down at. We'll start with Worlds.
Yeah.
Right. So
Worlds was, oh my gosh, it was such a good event. Which, disclaimer, we did attempt a podcast at Worlds, but we had a few beers. We were playing a semi-competitive pros versus Joe's tournament. Some of the stuff we were talking about on that podcast probably shouldn't be aired, so
It just got a little unhinged.
yeah, it got a little crazy. We were having a little too much fun, so that one probably won't ever see the light of day.
I think it's safe to say that we just had a good time post, in the celebration of the
for
moment,
Sure. Yeah.
celebrating. Well, let's talk about what we were celebrating.
Yeah,
Jay and Jordan, pro
Yeah.
shootout champions, man.
Oh, there was one more thing in there too.
the blind draw.
Yeah, we had
Pro
Corey
blind
Yeah, we
Morrison.
did have Corey Morrison. Yeah.
Yeah, so Corey Morrison, he took down the blind draw, the pro blind draw at Worlds.
With Kingfisher, right?
I don't know who. he
I
was
can't
with.
remember.
I'm almost positive.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Kingfisher. Was
Which
his partner.
honestly, that's a hard event to win in itself.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
well, especially at the time, like they were letting in, what's it called, like lower tier pros,
The
like,
PDC?
Yeah, like PDC players were in there too, and so I heard multiple people like getting paired with people who are there. It's like, we just don't throw the same bags, et cetera, et cetera. We don't play the same. I mean, that's the story for every blind draw. But I feel like most every blind draw is just all Joes, not a mixture of pros and Joes, and so I don't know.
No, it was cool to see him win that, and then of course, one of the bigger events that was going on, and of course, it was televised.
Mm-hmm.
We had Jay and Jordan going on to the Pro Shootout Championship.
yeah, and it's crazy. We were, I would say, one frame away, essentially, from a Titan versus Titan finals
Oh,
for
yeah.
the pro shootout.
Yeah, Adam and Cody were also making their way through the pro shootout. No, it was a crazy day as a whole.
I think that we even said that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like
we
in
called
the
it.
last episode we released,
Yeah.
we're saying, what if?
It was
Even
I'm
whenever they
telling
released
you.
the brackets, I was like, oh, there's a chance.
Yeah.
Because I thought they were going to put them against each other early on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But they put them in opposite corners of the bracket where there was a chance.
Yeah, and I kid you not, it was essentially one frame. I mean, Cody and Adam had a little bit of a slow start on that game. If they wouldn't have had that slow start, it would have been so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that would have been fun. But Jay and Jordan, they did take it down.
They did.
And as
did.
usual, there was a lot of hating going on.
A lot of chirping.
There was
Yeah.
a whole bunch of chirping.
But it's expected. It's
Yeah.
expected.
Yeah, and it felt sweet.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I had some open seats available to me, and
Yeah.
I let some random guys sit down beside me, and well, they were my seats, and so little did they know as they were yelling out against the guys that were on my team,
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, those are my seats, and Jordan and Jay, those are my guys. So maybe pipe it down a little
Yeah.
bit.
yeah.
Yeah, I missed that game. I didn't get up till Friday, but oh my goodness, I was sitting there laying in bed watching it. Me and Ben are texting back and forth the whole time, just freaking out the whole time. It was even just watching it from a phone. Oh my gosh, it was an experience.
Yeah.
I was just front row anxiously on ESPN the whole time.
I know.
Stressing me out.
Saw
dude.
you sweating.
Yeah. That's just normal. But
I posted a picture of you on the fan page.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize you were in it, and then I just looked in the back, and you're just like chilling.
Yep.
And I'm like,
No.
oh, he's nervous.
well, no, dude, just the whole time because it was just like because I knew because Ashley was right there, Jordan's girlfriend. Like they frequently will like zoom in on like close family and partners that way they can kind of get the reaction on the face for TV. And so I was just like, God, like I know I look normal, but it's like they're just gonna zoom in, and I don't want to be like in some weird state.
I mean, you look like a Jamie. Can you pull that up for me? 'Cause,
Yeah.
pull it up real quick.
You look like a Renaissance
I
painting.
know. Was it
just
you or
like,
Cody that said that?
like
One of
laid
you.
out, like-
Hey, why don't you get Vlad to pull it up real quick?
yeah,
We got a guy now.
We
Yeah.
got a guy.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
That's
we
it.
got a guy.
yeah. My computer got hacked.
He's really just a
earlier today.
fan.
He was
Oh,
trying to
gosh.
help you out, and you just shut him out. Quit letting him control your
That's right.
computer. It's horrible.
That's right.
No.
Well,
But
anyway.
yes, Worlds was a great experience.
It was.
Yeah, and then obviously also that marked us moving into the 2024 season with bags. That was our first release of those bags. Huge success. Yeah, overall, I feel like Worlds was a fantastic experience.
Yeah, and everybody that came by the booth was complimenting your job on the
Mhm,
bags.
mhm.
Yeah.
So well done, Josh.
Yep.
Everybody loves the fun and bright colors that were happening. So that was cool.
Yeah, it seems like in person, everyone loves them. On the internet, there's a few people not so much.
Yeah, not everybody's gonna like everything. But speaking of bright colors, we do have a new bag that has some more subtle colors on it.
We do.
Well,
do.
we'll get
We'll get
to
there
that in a minute.
eventually.
We'll get to that in a minute. Well, let's talk about the trek across the country.
Mm-hmm.
We went to
It was a
Ventura.
long walk.
Yeah.
Long walk.
Yeah, and we were toting that box that had our stuff taped on top of
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Empty box.
Yeah, there's nothing in the box.
Yeah,
But no, yeah, we flew out to Ventura and got everything underway for Spencer's Throwdown, and man, that was fun.
Oh my gosh, that was that was my first year there. Absolute blast.
Yeah, it was a really good time this year for a lot of reasons. I think my favorite reason for everything was just having so many interesting matches happening on our
Mhm.
live stream lane, which obviously, I mean, I was chained to it pretty much the whole time,
Yeah.
but it was great just being able to, have like Chuck Liddell coming over there and
Yeah, that's so
throwing and
crazy.
Mhm.
other celebrities, get to talk to folks, in the VIP booth and just having a good time all around. But then, of course, watching the actual competition that was going on
Mhm.
was also just a huge blast.
It was insane.
It was great. Yeah, we had 2 events that we swept,
Yep.
which felt good.
Yeah, I
I'll
mean,
say first event that I do want to talk about, just kind of a small side shoot with it, is the Crew Cup. First time, I guess, in person seeing a pro Crew Cup event. I've watched them online, sure. Incredibly entertaining. I feel like
Oh,
for
yeah.
TV, for content,
Oh, yeah.
super interesting.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of people say that, like, I feel like that would be more entertaining than doing the pro blind draw.
Mm.
If you were just to
Yeah.
arrange crew, like if at Worlds, I feel like if there was a Crew Cup event, I know they're leaning into the teams stuff. I know that's ACL, and so they didn't have teams at Spencer's. But I don't know. I had a lot of fun watching the Crew Cup, and then
I did
also
too.
seeing people. See, I guess Spencer's is a different time because you're kind of in between that Worlds and new ACL season. It's kind of this gray area of who you play with and
Right.
who you're allowed to play with, what bags you're allowed to throw. But I don't know, seeing people kind of pick these power teams and pick these people who are like even just either just friends or whatever. I don't know. I really enjoyed watching it.
yeah, I definitely think that Crew Cup needs to have the spotlight put on it a little more because, like Josh said, that's probably the most entertaining form of cornhole for me to watch.
There was so much energy that was happening.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, when it got down to some of the semifinal matches to go on broadcast, to get to the broadcast,
Yeah, yeah.
right? This was still out in the parking lot outside. I mean, we were there pretty late.
Yeah, because they technically have a hard cutoff at 10.
Yeah.
And we didn't finish technically till 10:30, and so it was just this awkward like
Security.
security. Yeah, like everybody that wasn't associated with a player or the company associated with their sponsors had to leave,
Yeah.
Huh.
and so just thousands of people turned into 30 of us
Yeah.
standing around this lane.
And we're watching this happening, and I mean, there was dew on the boards. Like, I mean, it was soaking wet, and you're just watching these guys adapting and getting real stressed out, like,
Oh,
and
yeah.
tired too. It's like we want to go home and go to bed
Yeah.
because a lot is happening tomorrow. got all the double stuff. And so it was cool to watch them finally pull off the win. And whoo, man, it felt good.
Oh, yeah.
And other thing that was interesting is the final people they had to play against was a group of like 16, 17-year-old kids who they were some shooters. They were, I think someone said they were local to Ventura. But I don't know, it's just like something that kind of brought more, I guess, awareness to me that like there's a lot of people who are crazy good and can hang on their own with pros, but they just don't have that opportunity.
Right.
They can't play in pro right now.
That sounds like my situation.
Oh, yeah.
that's
100%.
it. Yeah.
Too busy designing new stuff.
Yeah, no,
That's
man.
it.
Yeah, that is the only thing that prohibits me from being a professional
I
football player.
It's the only
100%.
thing holding you back.
100%.
Yeah, but they took it down. They went to broadcast, and the broadcast just I don't even know how to describe the way that it felt, but it
Hot.
not only
It was boiling.
it was
in
hot
there.
in there.
It was boiling.
Not only did we just sweep everything, but I mean it was like a nasty sweep on several of those games too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
21-0.
Yeah, it was
like,
Yeah.
it was wild.
I think it was the one that was 21-0. I think it ended up being 21-2 or 21-6.
maybe yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
21 or it was like 20 or 18-0 for the long portion of the game.
Yeah, that was that was doubles, right?
Yeah.
Against
That was
Jamie?
that was the Jamie game. Yeah.
So in doubles, Jay and Jordan, they made it out to broadcast as well as a doubles team. They just completely ran over.
Oh yeah.
They were on a different level that night
Yeah,
Oh,
it
compared
was-
to
absolutely.
everybody in that building.
It
It
was
was
like
insane.
they were just on. Jamie was off, and it just made for a match and made in heaven for
Yep.
a big win, you know. And so you had that happen, and then
Windsor and Hicks.
Jay and Jordan go on to play them and win.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they played Hicks and
Richards.
Richards.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Who did Windsor play with again?
Harbaugh.
Harbaugh.
Harbaugh. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was doubles. That win just felt crazy, but the Crew Cup felt
Mhm.
so intense.
Oh,
And,
absolutely.
I mean, if you watched the broadcast of that, you could hear some tension between
Oh yeah, there was some
Oh,
chirping going
Jordan
on.
and Logan.
Yeah, there was some chirping.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's expected because like one, I'm chirping during the game. Love
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
it's awesome.
I really did enjoy the fact that there were a ton of mixed teams throughout the event where there's like, people who throw a bunch of different bags and they all just kind of formed this little power team. But it kind of turned into, even they labeled it on TV, it was Team Titan versus Team BG.
Yeah,
Right.
And so it wasn't just Spencer's, it wasn't just that. I almost feel like they kind of all of a sudden were representing their sponsors as
Yeah.
well.
Oh yeah, I feel like just that game compared to like any other game we've seen, that's like the biggest. Like this is Titan.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like come and get some. This is Titan.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
awesome. Like same thing. Me and you, 12 o'clock at night. I'm sitting at the house and just watching it on my phone, texting back and forth. I saw you in the background freaking out one time.
I was freaking out a lot.
Yeah, I saw you freak out, and I went to my text. I was in the middle of texting you, and that's the first time you text me, and we were just back and forth. But it was just, man, it was awesome.
Yeah, so those were some sweet victories. So we came home without having empty hands.
yeah.
Our hands were full coming home
Very full.
with wins and memories. I mean, even just the times hanging out with everybody
Oh,
was
yeah.
was a great time too. So it was very successful. Good trip, great conversations, good fun, and yeah, it was
One
good.
thing that I feel like I've thought about like 4 or 5 times is once they qualified for broadcast is when they then found out that they have to wear matching jerseys
Oh.
to be on TV.
Yep.
Otherwise, they'll just be gifted a Throwdown jersey, which is whatever. That's cool. But it was like this scramble to figure out like what they're gonna wear. And we're like, okay, well, just meet up at the booth at this time. We have Titan jerseys, and then Jay having to cut his sleeves
Yeah.
off at the booth.
It's awesome.
Because the sleeves were too
So
tight.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, they looked real
Oh,
good.
yeah.
That
the
black
new
and
jerseys
orange
look
was
fantastic.
so good.
Hey,
Get
we're
them on
so hard.
TitanCornhole.bags.com.
Yep, that's right.
Use this
Use-
coupon code up here, and
somewhere. Up
Yeah.
there.
that way we can give Val some money.
Y'all actually did a pretty good job. Our prompt screen is not turned on right now.
Yeah,
and-
we're in the
yep,
dark over
They
here.
were on the
nailed
money.
it.
Look,
Oh,
that
yeah.
Were we
that is
really?
worth a like and subscribe.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
is. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun. That was exciting. And then we have some other fun and exciting things that are happening.
Yep.
Finally happening.
Yeah, I mean, we got back from all these trips, and we were eager to get back on the podcast, but of course had to wait for everything to come back in on top of the box. And we were also working on a lot of new stuff. A whole lot of new stuff.
A lot of new stuff. A lot of new stuff still getting worked on.
Yeah, some stuff still in the process, some stuff in the beginning phases, some of it done. So
yeah, so let's I know everybody's going to want to know about the whole bag situation, right? We're going to save that for last. So let's go down the list of, just to inform the good peoples of the internet, what we got coming. Okay, so we're not going to disclose at what time this will happen. It probably will not be super soon, but it will not be super far away either. But we are revamping some design work on the X Factor and the Pro Set.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that they are huge changes, but they're changes that make it, pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they're just because I feel like definitely the X Factor as a whole, I guess, is more so what I'm talking about. Like, it's just a great final product overall, and it's kind of a product that we stand behind, but you can always improve something, even if it's small and minimal. And I feel like we've gotten to that point to where we don't want to just leave it. It is what it is. If we see room that we can improve it, then we're going to do that.
Yeah, even if it's like the tiniest little detail, we are perfectly fine with just reworking the whole thing to make that detail work. And that's essentially what we've been doing right now.
And the fun thing about these particular details that we are adjusting, it's almost like, putting the polish on something.
Yeah.
Because it's already a good thing, and then we added these details that's like, ooh, that makes it even nicer.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to let these things out. It's going to be super exciting. Then we have an entirely new product that may not seem new because it's based off of something else, but it is a totally new product. And we are probably on the next episode going to dive in a little bit more on this one.
I think it's going to need almost like a whole episode,
right?
Or at least a half,
because it is it's a new ScoreMate, right? So it's not your normal ScoreMate. This ScoreMate, we're calling it the ScoreMate Pro, and it is geared specifically to tournament directors or people who are using tablets frequently. We've actually got one here in the room with us that I'll show you briefly in just a minute. But essentially what separates this, it's a lot bigger, beefier as far as the construction of it. It's multi-ply plywood. I'll put that out there. But it has a built-in battery bank. So it can keep your tablets charged for quite a while without having to, scramble and freak out. The tablet holder on it, I'm sure many tournament directors will thank us for this one. The tablet holder will keep the tablet held in place no matter what, and the wind is not going to knock it over.
Yeah. I mean,
that was an issue at Spencer's.
Yeah, you get a rogue airmail, bar soap, something bag goes flying off the back of the board, hits that ScoreMate, that tablet's staying in its place now.
Yep. And the tablet on this one is a little bit lower on the setup, so that the top part, if you want to live stream with your phone or anything like that, it's much easier to have better visibility in that situation, and your phone's not getting blocked by the tablet that's set up. But there's also one interesting feature that we took off from the old ScoreMate to this one. There's no score on it. Like, there's no printed thing for you to keep track with, little clips or whatever it is that people, choose to do. It's just open advertising space.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there is a removable sign. So if you are a tournament director and you want to have a sponsor for a particular lane at an event, well, instead of having to go and buy a brand new thing, you can buy this ScoreMate up front and then just buy the sign that goes up inside it.
Exactly.
So how about we show the people what this thing looks like real quick?
A little sneak peek.
Yeah. Hey, hang tight. Let me go grab it.
No, because I feel like definitely at this point, ScoreMates They have their place for keeping track in an analog way without a tablet. But at the end of the day, tournaments, large events that I would say we all would say matter, have gotten to the point to where this is what people want.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, whenever people sponsor the event, you end up having to print and brand the ScoreMate. That way they can get their advertising space. And because it's meant to have scoring on it, you have all these numbers and all these, dividing lines that I feel like kind of break up that advertisement space.
Yep.
And so this allows it to be what it is. And then, like he was saying, you don't have to reinvest in a brand new tower every single time. Instead, you can just buy an array of different signs to keep inside of it. And also, I feel like, I guess I don't know the tolerances on the inside with the sign, but like, could you use coroplast,
Yeah.
et cetera? Yeah.
Sure could. Yeah, you could go to your local sign shop and just have something made last second and replace it. But
Yep.
here it is. So it is way thicker. You can see
Well, it's twice.
where the battery bank is. I mean, double thickness. I mean, that's a lot.
That's a good bit.
Yeah. So battery bank is in here, so easy access to plug up your tablet or device to that. And we have an opening in the top of it, if we can show it here.
Moving this
That opening
battery
in the
around.
handle is actually where you can put your phone to live stream. There's the ad space. I mean, come on, look at that.
Look at that ad. It's
Look
so
Jordan
good.
power washing.
Don't get nervous. Call a pro.
You like that? Man, that was fun just to have as our gimmick ad for this.
You sent that to
There's-
Jordan yet?
I have not.
Oh,
So
my
maybe
God.
he needs to see this for the first time. But the leg on this thing, it locks in very different from before. And that we'll show that in a little bit more depth in a coming episode just to talk about that because it's really cool.
It's honestly very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's a little bit about. Ooh, we went too far. There we go. That's a little bit about the ScoreMate Pro. That's going to be. I don't foresee the general consumer buying tons of these things,
No.
but I do see people who are always running leagues and tournaments and stuff. Like it would be a godsend to have something like this. Solely for the reason alone that your tablets aren't going to fall over and you've got a battery pack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say.
I think that's the biggest thing. That battery pack in there, that's just like 8 headaches out of the way, right?
Oh,
off the bat.
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm surprised that we haven't seen something like that before. But,
I am too.
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, there it is. And we are excited to release that. That one's actually coming out pretty soon. So stay tuned for some information on the release of the ScoreMate Pro. Now, let's talk about this new bag.
Well,
So-
let's get one thing out of the way.
Okay.
Also, just
Yep.
let people know. Obviously, they've been out for a little bit, but we do have our new ACL approved mini bags.
Yep.
And so going in with this year, obviously you have ACL Pro normal cornhole bags, but then this year we are stamping our mini bags as well. And so we do have all of our
Good throw.
all but one now.
Yeah, no more Man of Wars.
Yeah, no more Man of Wars anymore. But yeah, we do have all of our Core 10, or now we're up to Core 11. About to be Core 12.
Ooh.
About to be 12.
What are you talking
I
about?
don't know. What are we talking about, Kendall?
We're talking about a new bag, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where we're going with this?
Yeah.
Let's start with the name.
Okay, so we do have the Dweller that a teaser was released yesterday.
Dweller, the new beast. Let y'all see
Mm-hmm.
the squid.
The Calamari.
Calamari, which,
calamari.
oh my goodness, I love it. This artwork is it's very nice.
Mhm.
I'm a big fan. We were kind of sifting through some stuff, trying to figure out which one we wanted to go with, and it just everybody wanted to say the squid, and we were just kind of avoiding it. And then
Yeah.
last minute, we were like, you know what, we're doing it. We don't care, we're doing it.
Yep.
And I think it's a good choice. The artwork. So right now we have 3 colorways.
Yeah, we have like this mocha coffee colorway. We have this kind of lagoon, dark blue and green, and then we also have the currently, I think, fan favorite of most colors, which is this cotton candy.
Yep.
I
And-
do love that blue and green.
Oh yeah,
It looks so good.
oh yeah. I think this is my favorite.
I'm such a huge fan of the mocha. You just
Mhm.
don't see many brown themed bags.
Yeah,
Mm.
no.
And the reason this is brown themed because on the back you can see this herringbone carpet
Mm-hmm.
that is brown.
Yeah. So
With
let's
herringbone.
let's talk about herringbone.
Yeah, so
Right.
golly,
That is
herringbone.
one of the hottest fabrics that are on bags right now.
Yeah.
And people have been asking us a lot.
Yeah.
Like, are you guys ever going to do a herringbone bag? Well, we've had a herringbone bag for how long now?
Golly, just this bag, this prototype with this herringbone. I have a video on my TikTok from last October, I think, where we first started prototyping it.
Yeah. So we've had it sitting around for a minute, and which I actually have done 0 R&D for this bag,
Really?
which is interesting.
Well,
Like,
with the R&D process, one thing that we realized, and I think a lot of people maybe should realize, is it is herringbone carpet, but not all herringbones play the same.
right.
Some herringbones are very fast. Some herringbones just don't play well at all. And sure, you can copy the herringbone that everybody knows, and you can get stuff that's similar for sure. But I feel like that's kind of a part of the Titan R&D is kind of we want to try everything.
Yeah.
And so that's been kind of the process is trying the good, the bad, and the ugly with all the different herringbones.
Yeah, because this was the first herring. No, this wasn't even the first herringbone.
No,
We had
that's
a
like second or
herringbone.
third.
Yeah, we had a herringbone forever ago. We actually dug them out of the closet when we started this.
Mm-hmm.
We were testing a herringbone that's very similar to like the popular herringbone you see now. Like, oh my goodness, I mean, it was before most of the popular herringbone bags were a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest issue with that was the speed.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one thing that, we kept trying all these different ones. They felt great. They, good hand feel.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest thing was just getting that speed we wanted.
Yeah.
And another big thing is just consistency. It's like we would see some of those herringbones, they would fly when the boards were dry, and the second you get a little humidity, it was like bricks hitting the board.
Oh, yeah. And then there was another one that we had that felt fantastic, and it broke in really nicely and felt good. But whenever it broke in or just over time through play, it kind of fluffed up a little bit.
Yeah.
You could tell the fibers wanted to fluff, and it went from like a 5-speed bag to like a 9.
Yeah.
And it's just like you can't come out with something that you're going to have to tell the customer, like, you get 2 weeks out of it. Enjoy.
Yeah. And then another one, oh my goodness, it felt amazing. It was so good. But any kind of break-in process besides naturally throwing it, it would just like ball up, fuzz up like little fuzz balls all over it. I had to take a fabric trimmer to mine just to get it back to normal. But once it got to that point, it was amazing. But once again, that's not something we're wanting to put out. Like, hey, this bag is great, but
this comes with a fabric trimmer.
Yeah, you got to buy a
Here's
fabric
the grooming
trimmer.
process for
Yeah.
this bag.
So there was a bunch of different herringbones we tried out. Really wanted to really dial it in and figure out which one, is going to work best for what we're trying to do at Titan.
Yeah.
And we settled on this herringbone, and it is, let me tell you, it's slightly different from what you see on most bags, but oh my goodness, I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a unanimous decision. I mean, once everybody started throwing this specific herringbone, everybody's like, yeah, throw all the other stuff out the door. Like, this is the one.
Yeah, because I'm not a carpet player, and that's what I'm throwing now. I love them.
Yeah, I
I can't throw them well, but I like throwing them.
I threw a 12.6 PPR last night.
That's
with it.
insane.
I mean, yeah,
Damn.
that's good.
But yeah, this it's also super consistent. That was one of the biggest things we wanted. We were talking with our pros, talking with people that throw, similar style bags, and one big complaint with not just herringbone, but all bags in general is just how different they can be with conditions. And we also found, on top of all the other perks of this specific herringbone, it is super, super consistent. I mean, of course, if the boards are super dry, they're going to speed up a little bit. But for the most part, with humidity, they're going to stay around that same 5-speed. And that's something that's very, very difficult to find.
So this is obviously a big release.
Oh, yeah.
That a lot of people are going to be very interested in.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I've seen so many comments, people asking about herringbone, and I've just wanted so badly to be like,
even at Worlds, we
Yeah,
had
I wanna
people
come, I
coming
wanna
up
come.
and asking. We had people who like loved all the new designs, and they're like, "What's your new bag?" And they're like, "Oh, well, it's coming out X, Y, and Z." And they're like, "Is it herringbone? Is it carpet?" Like,
That was
what is
legit
it?
the first question. Is it herringbone?
Yep.
Like-
Or guys would come up with, what's y'all's herringbone bag?
I
Let me
can't
get
tell
one.
you.
And it was just so hard to not be like, "Just wait."
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things that we've been, of course, this has been at the top of our list for a very long while. Even last year's new bags, this was one we were considering, but we know this is such a staple in the bag world. This specific style bag is such a staple. We wanted it to be dialed in, ready to go, and best of the best.
Yeah.
And I think we hit the nail on the head.
Oh, absolutely. Because with the full Titan lineup, like especially whenever we're at full bore with 15 sets, we've always kind of had, like when we first launched, we had like our main 4 or 5 bags that I would say were the Titan like staples. And then as years have gone by, I feel like that list of staples keeps growing, and then the room for bags that we can either change or replace with something else or add something new, like that's fluctuating, or I guess we don't have as much wiggle room. And so I feel like we knew that when the Dweller came out, it's going to kind of have to be in that spot. It has to be one of those core primary Titan bags. That's not going to be something that we replace down the line.
Yeah. Well, we also have some other bags that we've been working on too.
We do.
We have 2.
Yeah. We obviously many people have noticed that there's a hole in our longest running bag, the Jekyll and Slide.
No.
Yeah.
That is not present, and that is because it's getting a makeover.
It is getting a makeover.
Let me tell you, it is such a good makeover.
I was gonna say it's getting some new legs, but it's almost like it has no legs.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Golly, y'all! I'm so excited for this bag to get out. Like y'all don't understand.
True 0-10.
Yes,
Dude,
this
True
is
0-10.
like whenever.
Not even a 0.5.
No, it's and the crazy thing is like we've had a 0-10 before. The original Jekyll, 100% 0-10.
But it was like throwing a frisbee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whenever I took them home, broke them in, brought them back, and I had like 2 or 3 other test bags in with that batch. And I actually took them into Brandon's office, and I tossed him the Jekyll first. And he's like, "Oh, is this that new blah, blah, blah?" Next bag, can't say what it is, but is this that new blah, blah, blah? I was like, "No, that's a Jekyll." And he just kind of backs up and looks at me and holds it up, turns it to the slow side. He goes, "Dang,
What?
He's like, "Dang, that's it."
Yeah, it's wild.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
We've been having a lot of fun with them here. We actually need to get another setup here so we can have some
we do.
Jekyll games going.
Which those aren't too far away from coming out, so we should be able to get a few sets here.
Yeah, so we've got some fun stuff in the works, new things that are happening. Of course, we got the updates to existing products like the Pro X Factor. We've got the brand new ScoreMate Pro that is coming out soon, and we've got the Dweller that's coming out soon. You want to give people some information about like schedule for the Dweller?
Dweller, so they're looking at September 25th is going to be the release on that. We haven't decided on a time. But overall, it'll be launching September 25th. And then after that, you can probably expect, I'm going to go ahead and say, with it either 3 weeks or less after that, you should see the Jekyll. Depending.
And listen, when these bags drop, you guys need to be waiting up at midnight and buy them because we're Titan and we ship stuff out next day and we don't run out of stock.
Well, with these, we may be doing a limited drop at first.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So we are going to have a launch edition.
Yeah,
for the Jekylls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the
It's,
Dweller, too.
And the Dweller as
Because,
well.
I mean, the Jekyll's coming out around Halloween, isn't it?
Pretty close. Pretty
Yeah.
close.
Yeah, so a lot of exciting stuff.
We got that, and then we have another mystery bag that is months away, but still in the process.
Golly, at this point, it might be years away.
I know.
How much this bag, when I like explaining how much testing has gone into this herringbone, this bag has been about 4 times as much.
Well, let's just go ahead and give away a little bit of the secret, just hint to everybody.
Okay.
We've been having
We
to
haven't
work.
found enough unicorns.
We've been having to work very closely with NASA, so we'll just put that.
No.
Bags in space.
No, I was going to say for the other bag that we were working on, the very first prototype of it was almost 2 years ago. And like that's one of the first prototype bags that I kept that I still have. And it's not even really close to what the bag's going to be. So we have that on the horizon, and then also very soon on the horizon we have the full Team Titan release of who we're sponsoring.
Golly, I'm
Sometimes
so
I like
excited.
it. Sometimes it's stressful that we are just always the last ones, fashionably
Oh,
late.
dude.
On,
No, save
no.
the best for last.
Yeah,
What do you
we're
mean?
we're announcing it days before the first open.
Yeah,
Like
that's
what,
the way
3
to do it.
days before.
Keep them on their toes,
Dude.
man.
Like it's it's gonna be fun. And
It's
the
worth it, though.
reason why it's so much fun for me to have
Mhm.
to wait is seeing everyone's assumptions.
Yeah.
Oh
on,
yes,
like addicted to cornhole and everything cornhole and all these different pages. You're like, yeah, you're wrong, buddy.
well, and as all these huge names, like there's the core, let's say 30 players that you hear the same names all the time. Once 15 of those 30 people have announced all their partners, then people start trying to connect dots. They're like,
Yeah.
okay, so
Yep.
this is who's left.
Yep.
So
I
this
think that's-
person's got to be playing with Batman.
Yep.
Like
that's
they're
where
just
we're at
yeah,
right now.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these it's funny reading through some of them. Like, there's some names that people put together that I'm like, didn't think about that, but that would be nice.
Oh
but
yeah.
I think people are gonna be like, there's some teams in there that people are gonna be shocked when they
Mhm.
see.
I'm just gonna put it this way: there is one team in here that is one of the weirdest plot twists
Yes,
in my
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
100%.
I think everybody is gonna look at this team and be like, "What?"
Yeah,
Well, it's crazy because
Excuse
it's
me?
like that's clearly a top team,
Oh,
but then
oh,
it's also like it's a what? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
at the same time.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
see, you went plot twist. I thought you were going another team with a plot twist because there is a pretty big plot twist. Then there's another team that's just like, what?
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, you guys will understand when
Mhm.
we
So
drop.
the first team, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he just says them all, but we just mute it. We just have to try and read his lips.
Vlad, can you mute him for me? Yeah. All right. Well,
I think we're gonna have Vlad on next week. Honestly,
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
no, he's on this week.
he's just helping out this week.
Well, that about wraps it up. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify. And there's a lot of stuff, announcements that are coming. So you guys
Yep.
better stay tuned.
Yeah.
We are probably going to give a little bit of an early hint at some of this team information on the podcast and
Yeah.
not anywhere else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you guys might want to stay tuned about some of this information.
Get all of your alerts on across all of our social media. I mean, you're gonna need them because all the new stuff we got coming out, you'll be the first to know.
Yep.
I mean, just stay up to date because there's some real exciting stuff coming up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Well, with no further ado,
I do.
we will talk to you guys next time. And it was good being back on.
Very
It was a
good.
good time. We'll see
Yeah.
you next Thursday.
All right.